Hey everybody, this is Josh and I Ain't Know It All. Just tried to do a stream a couple minutes ago, had a little technical issue, got it fixed, we're back on. So today guys, we are talking about, excuse me, I'm kind of looking back and forth. We are talking about the rule changes proposed by Major League Baseball and the Players Association. Now, these rules aren't done, they're not, set in stone, but there is a chance that some of these come into play this year. Some of these are going to be probably implemented starting with the start of the season. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the ones I like, the ones I don't like, the ones I'm on the fence and don't really care one way or the other. So that's what the topic's going to be today. Just going through the rules. There's a handful of them. Like I said, some of them I like, some of them I don't, and some of them, my opinion changes from minute to minute. You guys have started to weigh in on the Facebook page saying which things you thought were good and bad and which things you hated. Twitter, I've been seeing it all morning long. But before we get started, first thing I want to say is, for those of you who do follow 9 Inning Know-It-All, whether you watch the videos, the Facebook page, you go to the website, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. That allows us to, one, keep the site going, because right now, the bill is coming due to keep the site going. We've got to have enough space on our site to be able to put photos up, because we do a lot of photos of high school, college, minor league, wood bat league type stuff. So that way the players, the teams, the organizations, the fans, even family of the players can enjoy those pictures. I know when I first started taking photos at games, when I was down at Salem Kaiser Volcanoes, I actually got emails from parents of some of the minor league players who lived on the East Coast. They couldn't watch their sons play minor league baseball. And so my photos were a way of them to stay connected and to see what their sons were doing. So I love doing that, but I got to have the space on the website to do that. It costs money. Also, we want to sponsor teams and we want to sponsor scholarships for young players so they can keep playing the game they love. Even if it's just rec league, we want them to sponsor and have fun and not worry about paying for the cost to play, because sometimes it gets pretty expensive. So we have a link down in our description below. It's Patreon. Go on there, whether it's $2, $5, $10. Anything you do helps, and the money goes to 9 Know-It-All to help us get to games, photograph games, and once again to sponsor teams and players. But guys, you're here to listen to the rule changes that are being proposed. So I'm going to be looking back and forth. I don't have my glasses on, so if I see me squinting, that's why I'm a little blind at the moment. But there are some interesting rule changes coming in. They're being proposed. They're not being put in right now. These are rules that the commissioner's office and the Players Association are just discussing. And so the first one is a 3-batter minimum for pitchers. Now, there is some leeway in this. If a pitcher ends an inning, like they come in, get one out, inning's over, they don't have to pitch another 2 batters the next inning. If there's an injury, guys can be pulled out, obviously. But this one's an interesting one because it's really designed to get rid of the specialized left-handed pitcher for left-handed batters. The one-out guy who comes in, does his one thing that he's done for the next couple days. For this one I'm on the fence. I like the idea of forcing a pitcher to actually face more than just one hitter, then the manager coming out and changing pitchers for the second out, then the manager coming out and changing pitchers for the third out. That part of it I get. That part of it I'm not against. But at the same time, if I bring a pitcher in and he gives up a home run, and then the next batter comes up and he gives up another home run, I don't want him to face a third batter. I don't. I'd rather him fall on the ground, pretend like he got hit by a gust of wind and he is done for the season. This rule makes sense in some ways, but it's also something that it can lead to a lot of issues, a lot of problems. So, if they pass it, great. We don't have to worry about the one pitcher comes in, faces one batter, done. Next pitcher comes in, faces one batter, and this constant walking to the mound. But at the same time, it also takes away some of the strategy, because having a pitcher who can get a certain guy out is a key form of strategy. It is, especially in the playoffs. You see that. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm not sure what is right or wrong. I don't necessarily think I would vote in favor of this, but at the same time, if it did pass, I'm not going to be up in arms screaming that this is the wrong thing to do. So honestly, I would vote no. No is probably the vote that I'm going with on this one. But at the same time, you know, I understand why they're coming with it. I understand why some fans who aren't diehard like me would hate the fact that there are pitching changes two, three times in an inning. I can understand that. As a person who's been in baseball all my life, teams want to win, and you put your best player forward to win. And if that's a guy who pitches to one batter, then so be it. That's how you win. So I understand that. It makes sense. Not going to fight it, but at the same time, I understand what's going on. So next one. This one I'm sure is going to bring up a lot more debate, and that's a universal designated hitter. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. There was a time in my life where I was like, no, it's better to have designated hitter in one league and not in the other league, but not anymore. And here's some of the reasons why. No one has ever left a Major League Baseball game and said, wow, that double switch was amazing. It changed the game. No one's ever said that. I've never said that. I've never even thought that. A double switch doesn't mean anything. It's not exciting in the game. It's not. You're like, oh, wow, I'm so glad that my team just took Anthony Rizzo out of the game so they could pull a double switch. That's exciting. I love that. No. I want to see the best players on the field hitting. And there are some pitchers who can rake. I mean, let's be clear. There are some pitchers who can rake. But for every one that can, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them that can't. And I want to see hitting. I want to see guys go out and have good at-bats. I don't want to see these pitchers with their helmets on sideways and then throwing the bat out there. I want to see good, solid swings, 1 through 9, and I'm all for the designated hitter. I am all for it. Like I said, I used to be against it, having it in both leagues, but now I'm all for it, and from what I'm hearing, from what is being said by a number of people, this may not only be a discussion point, this might be a reality as soon as this season. It might be implemented this season. At the very lowest amount, all interleague play would have designated hitters regardless of the ballpark, National League or American League. But I'm also hearing that it could be put in flat across the board starting game 1. So we'll see. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. I don't know how they're going to do that necessarily. The National League teams will be at a little bit of a disadvantage because they haven't built their rosters for that. But at the same time, that's baseball. So the next rule, and this one I absolutely love beyond belief, and that's a single trade deadline. And right before the All-Star break. I prefer it to be a little after the All-Star break, but I understand being before the All-Star break. But I love the fact of a single trade deadline. Either a guy is traded or he's not. I hate this waiver trade deadline month in which you're sitting there going, oh, my guy could be traded if he clears waivers, and then if the other team clears waivers of the players they're trying to put, and that's too much. That's too much. Just makes things messy. Either a player is traded or they're not. And there's no issues with the waivers and all this stuff. And plus it gives your team, forces the teams to make decisions. I mean, the Mariners last year were kind of in, kind of out, kind of in, kind of out. And by having a deadline, a trade deadline earlier, before the All-Star break, a team must decide, yeah, we're in the pennant race, we're going for it. Or no, we're not, and we're selling. And that forces teams to make decisions earlier and commit to either winning or giving up. I mean, that's the truth. Next topic, a 20-second pitch clock. Now, obviously with this one, you've got to really kind of, I don't know, weigh things, because if there's a runner on base, then obviously it doesn't, that doesn't play in. Automatically the clock is gone. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to a 20-second clock. I think that's a little bit quick, but 20 seconds, it's enough time for a pitcher to get on the mound, get their sign, and go pitch. So 20-second clock, kind of okay with it, kind of not okay with it. Obviously, when runner's on base, you can't do it at all. So this one, I'm more fence on this one, a lot more fence than some of the other ones. The next one, expansion of the rosters to 26 men. and then a maximum of 12 pitchers on the roster, at least for the most part of the season. September changes, you can increase your roster, but this one, I don't care either way. If they have 26 players on the roster, great. If they have 25, great. Who cares? I know for Players Association, this is good because that means an extra guy on each team now gets paid major league salary, so that's an extra 30 guys. So that part of it for them is a big bonus. It's a big push. It does add an extra player. Those guys who are maybe fringe, maybe used more for speed, not so much for hitting, or not so much for defense. They're just a speed guy. It could open that up. Could. I'm okay with that. Next one, draft advantages for winning teams and penalties for losing teams. No. You can't screw with things. Now, yes, I know that teams have gone out and lost 90 games in multiple seasons in a row, Astros, so that they could try and get the best draft picks to try and rebuild, and it sucks for an organization. I'm a Mariner fan, and this year they could be doing something like that. Although I think they'll win more games than people give them credit for because they do have some talent, young talent. But overall, I hate the idea of those teams that are winning get rewarded with better draft picks. It's not how you make the bad teams better. That's not how you build them up. It's not how you help them grow and become competitive. You don't penalize them for losing. And so I don't like this one. I don't like this one at all. I know some of the discussions was that if you're a small market team and you win, you get like a bonus draft pick, and that makes me mad too, because it's the small market teams that might be causing some of the issues, but it's also the big market teams. It's just baseball's baseball. So I don't like this. I don't know how to really explain why I don't like it. I just know I don't like this one. If a team loses, give them a draft pick. If a team wins, they get a higher draft pick. That's just how drafts work. That's just how they work. So, and then the last thing they're doing, and this one is interesting and not really a surprise by any stretch of the imagination, and that is they're doing a study if they want to lower the mounds and changing a rule that would allow two sport athletes to sign major league contracts. So right now, if you're drafted, you can't sign a major league contract. And honestly, if they lower the mound, great. That should bring up more offensive numbers. But really, the issue isn't players being overmatched. It's just they're so mindset into the power of hitting that home run versus striking out. They just don't care if they strike out. I mean, I love Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is one of my favorite players in Major League Baseball right now. But he doesn't care if he strikes out. He wants to hit a home run. That's his job. He gets paid to do that. And he can hit the ball a freaking mile. I remember seeing him when he first got drafted by the Rangers and played for Spokane Indians, and he was in Eugene. And he was hitting balls not only over the fence, but over the barn in right field at the University of Oregon, clearing that, just shots, massive shots. So he doesn't care if he strikes out. His job is to hit home runs, and that's the way the mindset is of about 90% of the players in baseball. It's home run or who cares, and that's the issue. So if you want to lower the mound, great, but you've got to change the hitter's mindset a little bit to being able to make contact, put the ball in play. And yes, I want to see home runs, but I also want to see a guy who can hit 30 home runs and bat higher than 200. I mean, that's me. Maybe I'm old school. And if that's what it is, then so be it. So then the whole two-sport rule, guys who play two sports and be able to sign a major league contract, I have no problem with that. I actually have no problem with major league teams signing guys they draft off the bat to a major league contract. I know there's a lot of issues with the Players Association, a lot of issues with how things go, but if a major league team wants to sign a guy to a major league contract, do it. Now, in order to do that, you got to put the guy on the 40-man roster. You only have 40 spots. 25, maybe 26 of those are for your major league team. That leaves you with 15, 14 spots total for everywhere else. Now, those guys are going to be protected from the Rule 5 draft, that type of stuff, but that's not a lot of spots. That's not a lot of spots for guys who maybe are bouncing up and down between the majors and AAA because they're a pitcher that you're using, but they needed some time to work on something. It's not a lot of spots, so I'll be honest. This one I have no problem with. Most of the rules that or things that are being discussed, I don't have a real issue with it. The draft one I have a big issue with, just because I don't think it's the best way to make bad teams better. The 20-second pitch clock, on the fence, but a little bit more towards leaning saying no, because I don't think that's what's slowing the game down. I think just slow play. Guys are just, too many pitching changes, all that type of stuff. But honestly, I like a slow game. I would rather spend 3 hours out of the ballpark in the summertime, nice weather, relaxing, than 3 hours sitting on my couch watching Netflix. Just me, but I would rather be outside of the game. I mean, and this is the thing that I think non-baseball fans don't realize, is that you can go to a baseball game, even if you don't like baseball, and still have a fun time. You can get a hamburger, you can get a hot dog, you can sit and talk with people around you. I mean, I know people who go to games who don't like baseball, but they love the social aspect of the game. Beautiful weather, food, drinks, people, you're in a public, fun atmosphere. So, yeah, I don't think time is the issue. Now, granted, on TV, baseball's a little boring to watch on TV. I can understand that. But in person, oh my gosh. Who cares if you like baseball? Just go enjoy the weather. Get out of your house. Don't watch Netflix. Go watch a baseball game, or go watch the in-between inning things that they do at minor league games where it's just for fun to goof off, that type of stuff. So, interesting proposal between the two sides, the Commissioner's Office and the Players Association. And, I think if some of these things happened, it'd be okay. I don't think it would hurt. Baseball is in constant change, just like the other sports. It's changed dramatically since even when I was a kid. It's changed dramatically since I started 9-inning know-it-all like 8 years ago. It's changed a lot. So, change happens. I'm okay with it. Baseball's going to survive. There's other things baseball related that are more important to keeping the game going. And that is building up the younger generation to be fans. That's making baseball more accessible to individuals who don't have enough money to do it. And that's one of the reasons, once again, why Patreon for us is so important, because we can turn around and use some of that money to pay for players. In fact, I know just in Longview and Kelso, where I live, there are players who are asking for help, both baseball and softball. And you know what? If we can make an impact as a baseball community in young lives, then please help us. Join us and be a sponsor on Patreon. Once again, even $2 a month can make a difference. $5 a month, $10 a month, those things make a difference, not only to keeping the site going, but also to sponsoring kids, sponsoring teams, getting the game out there so more people can play. And so, that's what we're all about. That's what 9-inning know-it-all is all about, and will always be about. And that's spreading the game and encouraging people to play and become fans. So guys, I'm Josh, the 9-inning know-it-all. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with my thoughts, if you disagree. You know what? It's baseball, and if we're discussing baseball, it's all good. I mean, if that's the worst thing we're having is having to discuss new potential rules, then it's a good day. And you know what? Since right now it is, I think it was 21 degrees outside in Washington, and for those of you who know the I-5 corridor, the Longview, Kelso, just north of Portland area, 21 degrees is colder than it usually gets ever. I mean, usually if we get to freezing, it's crazy. 21 is cold for me. I know you guys on the East Coast and Midwest have gotten temperatures colder than Antarctica at times. So, don't feel sympathy for me. I feel sympathy for you guys. But at the same time, this is, it's cold, and I hate it. I hate the cold. Give me nice warm weather. Give me Arizona. Give me Southern California any day of the week. So guys, once again, I'm Josh, the 9-inning know-it-all, signing off. And guys, thanks for watching.